Welcome back to the Real, Relevant, and Righteous podcast. My name is Alexandria, and I want to wish you a happy new year. And I pray that this year will be your best year yet. This episode is going to be about something you should do throughout the whole year. So, I'm going to be talking about being led by God and why you should be led by God for the whole year. So, for 2023, I want you to be sure who is leading you. So, I'm going to use a famous scripture. Everybody knows it by heart. But I wanted to break it down more so we could understand and see what I mean by being sure who's leading you or being led by God. So I'm going to be reading from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. It was written by David. So it is written from the perspective of someone who knows what it is to be a shepherd. So some characteristics of a shepherd include being able to guide, being able to direct, and being able to protect the sheep from danger. So with the new year, a lot of people are starting to make their goals or visions for what they would like 2023 to look like or what you want to accomplish in 2023. But here's why you should make sure you are following and being led by God. So, number one, when you are being led by God, you will have access to rest. And it's a four-letter word, but a lot of people, it's not something that's easy to do for a lot of people. We live in a culture where it's all about productivity, it's all about the hustle, and you have to be constantly going. But that is not the way God intended it to be. Rest is necessary. So when you are being led by God, you will have access to rest. But let me prove it to you with the scripture. Psalm 23, verses 2. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. Laying down in green pastures suggests resting peacefully. And you're also beside the still waters. And when I was reading this, I'm like, still waters, what does that remind me of? But when I heard still waters, I was thinking it relates to something that we use today that helps us to sleep. Drum roll, please. It's a white noise machine. People literally buy these white noise machines to have like sounds of water that can help them to sleep or sound of rain. God leading you to still waters, it is reminding you it's being an aid to help you rest peacefully. That is my number one point. Remember that being led by God gives you access to rest. So my second point is when you are being led by God, there is restoration. There is restoration. Psalm 23 verse 3 says, He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. But let me stop at soul for a bit because it's talking about restoration of soul. So the restoration of soul, that is talking about your mind, your will, and your emotions. So all these things will be repaired because that's essentially what restoration is. Repairing something or bringing something back to its former state or its former purpose. In order for restoration to happen, something was mashed up. Something had to be mashed up for restoration to happen. Let's be real. So something was broken, and something has to be broken in order for it to have the opportunity to be restored. So when restoration happens, just know that your story changes because it's no longer about what was, but it's about what is. So that is my second point. My third point is being led by God brings you closer to righteousness. He leads me in the paths of righteousness. Number 4, being led by God gives you comfort and cancels anxiety. That is Psalm 23, verses 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. There is comfort in knowing that Jesus is ahead of me. Therefore, whatever comes my way, it has to go through Jesus before it comes to me. And if it doesn't have permission from Jesus to come to you, it's canceled. It is canceled. So that's the 4th one. Being led by God gives you comfort and cancels anxiety. So number 5, being led by God gives you provision and protection. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Even when there's people around you who do not want to see you win or succeed, you shall. No weapon formed against you shall prosper because you are protected. Now, when you look deeper into why the oil was put on the sheep, it was for their protection, stopping flies from buzzing around their heads and laying eggs in their noses. So the sheep would sometimes go to trees and bang their heads on the tree because it would be itchy. And they don't have they don't have hands to, swat the flies and things like that. So it's protection for the sheep with the outside elements. Not only does the oil protect the sheep from outside elements, but the oil protects the sheep from itself. When the sheep is banging the head on trees, that can be like trauma. That can lead to death. So the oil not only protects you from outside, but the oil is protecting you from yourself. So for 2023, there will be no more self-sabotage and no self-destruction because you will follow the Good Shepherd. Because you are following the Good Shepherd, there will not be self-sabotage and there will not be self-destruction. There will be no banging of your head on any trees. There will be no hurting yourself. There will be no self-sabotage because you are being led by God and because you are protected by God. And something else that I thought was interesting as well, when the oil stops the flies, stop the outside things from getting into the head of the sheep, in 2023, I pray the Lord will protect your head and your mind, that nothing that is not in His will take residence there. Nothing that will create anxiety will be in your head. And finally, because you are following God and not in the lead, things will start to follow you. Verse 6 says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Goodness and mercy will follow you as you follow Christ. And it says all the days of my life. So that means until death. Until death. To wrap up this episode, here are the points I want you to remember that I mentioned earlier. Number 1, being led by God gives you access to rest. 2, there is restoration when you are being led by God. 3, when you are being led by God, it brings you closer to righteousness. 4, being led by God gives you comfort and cancels anxiety. 5, being led by God gives you provision and protection. Now, why would you want to miss out on all of that? Why would you want to miss out? So make sure for 2023, that you are not walking in front of the Father. You are not walking in front of the shepherd. You should be following him. You should be behind him. You shouldn't be making plans and then when it's not working out, it's when you're going to say, "Oh God, can I do this? What do you think?" Before you plan anything, before you would decide anything, pray about it and make sure that God is in it. And lastly, I want to mention two scriptures that also relate to this topic. Deuteronomy 31 verses 6 says, "Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, he is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you." And Isaiah 43 verses 2. "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you." This year, invite Jesus to lead you, and you cannot lose. Do not run ahead of him because there's benefits that I discussed earlier. There's benefits that are only activated when you follow. The benefits are only activated when you are being led by God. So, happy 2023, and I pray that Psalm 23 will be your focus scripture for the entire year. Be blessed. Until next time, let's keep it real, keep it relevant, and keep it righteous.